JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 16th of November 2022, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us, guys. So now then, let's jump into the charts, guys. So I have been off for 2 days, but yeah, we're back on track today, tomorrow, and on Friday. So yeah, I'm hoping that you're gonna join me again this week. So yep, we're back. Let's have a look. Now, first things first, Nikkei 225. Looking at this picture, so I'm picking up on the instruments which I left off when I kind of jumped off, you know, on Friday. So basically, here we had a fantastic hold up here near this 28282 level. I talked about this and I said that if we pop above this, this is where I'm going to start aiming for the upside, for further upside. But if we start drifting back below this hurdle, this area between the 27,907 and 27,946, somewhere around here, if we fall below it, then I'll lean a little bit more towards the downside. Now, looking at this picture, we did get that drop today, but as you can see, it quickly climbed back above it, and stayed above this hurdle. Now, of course, this leaves me with the same area, of support. If we do drop again below this, I'll go lower, but towards this upside line, which previously I looked at as a lower side of the rising wedge. Now, I think the rising wedge can go unless we want to draw something this way, but I think this way would be a little bit trying to find something, you know, somewhere where it's not. So again, you could keep an eye on it. Maybe this could work out. Again, in general, anything can work out, but at this point, as I said, like it might look like I said, trying to find something somewhere where it's not. So look, at the moment, let's stick with the upside this way. If we push above that 28,282 territory, then yes, I'll go a little bit more to the upside here. For the downside, it needs to drop below this area, but at the moment, I am waiting. I want to see how everything's gonna escalate further in the geopolitical arena. So yeah, at the moment, yeah, like I said, let's wait and see. Now, looking at this picture here, Shanghai Composite. Now, this continued to work out perfect. Look, I mean, 2 weeks ago, I talked about this potential idea of a falling channel. It fell, which could also act as a nice bullish flag. We got that breakout, so we went higher. We reached my target, the 3,100 level, and we have moved above it, and we reached the 100 EMA right here, which provided fantastic resistance. Now, what's next? Well, this arrow has to be drawn, I think, this way now, because to be honest, in order for me to go higher right now, I would like to see a break of this downside line, which is taken from the high of the 5th of July. And yeah, if we clear that level, if we clear this area, I'll go towards that 200-day EMA for the downside. Now, this is where I need to redraw my chart a little bit. I think this can go, this can be reused, recycled, always recycle, guys. Yeah, so something like that could be an idea. And yeah, actually, this could be an idea for the downside, because basically if we break this upside line and we fall below my level here that I looked at previously as a good area of resistance, now support, the 3100 zone, if we fall below it, then yes, I'll aim lower, but probably I'll aim initially for that 21-day EMA, because as you can see here, it acted as a very good area of support, and then we'll go just from there. So at the moment, like, long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then probably wait for a push above this downside line. For the downside, at least a drop below the 3100 level here could give us like a start for looking at some lower levels. But still, don't get me wrong, there are a bunch of good areas of support. I mean, I can try to overcrowd the chart right now, but let's leave it, because again, let's leave it this way. Let's keep it simple. A drop below this 3,100 territory may open the door towards that 100-day EMA. Now, ASX 200, guys. Now, this one is quite interesting. So, we fell back below the 7,117 territory right here, which I looked at as a fantastic area of support previously. It was working out initially, but you can see the start, you know, it kind of failed here. It started kind of moving below this hurdle, and we're still moving below this hurdle. However, on the positive side, and I think some of you are already seeing this, let me just put this arrow somewhere here. So on the positive side is the fact that we have we are forming, it seems like that, a bullish flag. Well, can it be the case? Again, we'll have to wait and see, but probably I would say if we start pushing somewhere back above the 7,117 territory, and normally I look at the peak here and then I kind of go higher, but we could already start aiming for the upside, of course, with a careful stop loss. That's quite important, as always. And if we do push above that 7,117 territory, I'll slowly start aiming for the upside. Then I'll aim for where's that level? Let me just grab a line here. I'll aim for that 7,177, and if that gets cleared, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers can join in. So if you're, long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then yes, a push above that 7,117 territory could give us a bit of a start here for looking at some higher levels. More buyers could join in on the break of this 7,177 territory right here, because a forthcoming higher high would be confirmed. For the downside, now I'm leaving all this area here as a potential kind of correction area. So if you are comfortable trading this, fair enough, you do whatever you're comfortable with. But for me, I will probably just wait for maybe a drop below this upside line instead, and then do something maybe with the downside. Now, the German index, DAX, okay, so we continue to climb higher here, and we've moved nicely up, you know, towards this target of mine. I mean, look, I talked about maybe seeing a bit of a retracement, but actually, instead, it just kind of had this, you know, good move higher, good strong move higher. We reached my target, the 14,329 zone. Okay, what's next? Look, in a way, in general, the trend is still to the upside. However, on the daily chart, you can see that initially we formed something of a like a shooting star here initially. Then the next one here on Tuesday, that was on Monday. Then on Tuesday was like something like a doji. In general, both are reversal signals, and let me just quickly take a look at the cash index. Yeah, it's sitting at 14,340 levels, so basically slightly below yesterday's close. Okay, that's interesting. Not saying anything. This could still continue pushing higher, but probably at this point right now, I will stick to, let me just grab one of these lines, I will stick to yesterday's high at 14,440 level, approximately around there. If we get a pop and stay above it, that's most important, because look, whenever you have like a strong rally like that, basically be careful, because again, eventually it will correct at some point. Will it be today? Will it be tomorrow? Or when will it be? nobody knows, but let's say like this, we could have a scenario if we pop above the 14,440, stay a little bit above it, and then by the end of the day, if we start drifting back down, that's where it could become, you know, a good sign that maybe it's time for a little correction or something like that. So keep in mind that if you're looking for something a little bit more maybe reassuring, then this is an interesting target. Let me just grab this put it on the chart. There we go. So the 14,263, a nice good drop below it may attract more sellers into the game, and we could see a drop maybe towards that 13,950 level, or in general to the psychological 14,000 mark. So long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then of course at this point I would say it's probably the best option is to wait maybe for a push above the 14,400 level. For the downside, a drop below the 14,263 territory could do the trick for a few more sellers. So keep that in mind. NASDAQ 100, guys. So NASDAQ, yeah, this one's interesting as well. Also had a good push on Tuesday here. Yes, had a nice move here to the upside. Went higher, moved above the 100-day EMA, but then kind of failed to reach my target here, this 12,062. It did reach the psychological territory, the 12,000 mark, but I think it acted more as a good area of resistance, and from here the index fell back down, reached the so-called neckline that we broke. Now look, as long as we remain above that area, I would continue targeting the downside. Pretty straightforward, to be honest. The cash index right now, for example, is sitting at around 11,880 zone, so slightly above yesterday's close, but still somewhere in this territory. Now, in order to kind of maybe simplify our lives here, what you can do here is maybe, you know, like keep an eye on the high of yesterday, and which is around the 12,025 territory, or even better, this 12,062 marked by the high of the 21st of September could be a nice, interesting area to watch. So if we clear that, then this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could start aiming for that 200-day EMA, because eventually this is my target, this is my ideal scenario. The 200-day EMA, I still have a kind of an element of hope that we could reach that area, because we're still above the so-called neckline. Once we start dropping back below this neckline and stay below it, well, this is where I'll start aiming for that 21-day EMA, and if that gets cleared, then my next target is the 11,177, and then we will kind of take it from there, guys. S&P 500. So also, beautiful test of this 200-day EMA yesterday. Great, that's wonderful. Yesterday, let me just quickly double check. I think that, yeah, yesterday the S&P was the second best performer. NASDAQ was the first one. It's kind of always moves like this in a way. It's most of the times, to be honest, where either it's the Dow who's performing the best, or it's NASDAQ who's performing the best, or, you know, the vice versa. And this S&P is somewhere always in the middle. So that's why sometimes people like to look at the S&P as just a general overview of the market, what's happening. So it's not heavy tech driven and not heavy industrial driven. So it's like everybody else in there. Okay, so now then, sorry for the little pause here. Okay, now in terms of where we can go next from here, well, I would say, look, the same story. We're currently near this 200-day EMA. For example, on the S&P, yeah, we already reached it. Of course, some of you are probably looking maybe for a little a short here or some sort, but let me just double check something. Let's see if we have a nice rising channel here or something like that. So yeah, in a way it could be, there could still be some upside. So basically above this 200-day EMA we could travel a little bit higher, maybe test the upper side of this rising channel, and then yeah, go from there. Look, in general I would say if we pop above the 200-day EMA and stay above it, I'll aim higher. But at this point, although my ideal scenario would be somewhere around here near this 4,119, but initially I'll aim for that upper side of the upper side of the rising channel. It might provide some resistance of some sort, but if not, then yes, straight away, of course, to this 4,119 level. That's what I'm going to be aiming for. For the downside, now this is where it's interesting. For downside, from the very short-term perspective, probably I'm going to look at something like around here, the 3,958, approximately around here, guys, because then if we are within this rising channel, then yes, I'll aim for the 100-day EMA or the lower side of this rising channel, and then we'll take it from there. If we break lower, okay, we'll reevaluate things again, but yeah, if not, then we'll have to relook at this whole thing in general. At this point, like I said, it's very close. So if you're looking for some higher levels, probably the easier option is to wait for a push above the 200-day EMA, and then target the upper side of the rising channel or this 4,119 level. And for the downside, a drop below this hurdle here in the short run could lead to a retest of this 100-day EMA, but if that gets broken, then this could open the door towards that lower side of the rising channel. The DXY, the dollar index, continues to drift. Oh, look, while I was gone, it reached my target, the 200-day EMA. Great, wonderful. Look, I talked about this, and I said if we do fall below the 107.58 territory, 59 territory right here, then my next target is the 200-day EMA. Boom, we reached that. Great. Slightly below it, I have this little target right here, the lowest point of August, which is around 104.64. So in a way, I would say if we do start pushing further lower and we fall below the 200-day EMA, I'll give it maybe a go towards this area right here. Now, of course, if it clears it, then certainly we can start looking at some much lower levels, but let's go slowly on this one, and first let's see if we can reach this 104.64 territory right here. Now, in terms of the upside, of course, everybody's trying to find maybe a nice bouncing level here. I think that's a little bit tricky right now, because this could continue sliding. The trend is still to the downside here, the short-term trend. So, yep. And in general, look, we have broken this trend here, this trend, which is a trend line taken from the low of the 10th of February. So quite a medium-term upside support line. So now, yeah, there is still room for some further declines. So let's continue targeting the downside, and yep, like I said, initially I'll once again aim for this 200-day EMA. If that gets broken, then the 104.64 level could be a nice one to watch. If you're looking for some higher levels, this is where I need to redraw a few things here. So this can go. I'll keep the upside line because it, by the way, with the upside line, if you remember, I kept on talking about that idea where whenever we break a trend line or something like that, we kind of go and test it from the other side. So yeah, that could still be the case. If we push back above the 107.68, I'll consider a move towards the 100-day EMA initially, but then maybe even towards all the way towards this upside support line to test it from underneath, because I've seen this happening in other instruments. So hey, why not in DXY? That's could be like something to kind of, you know, relate to, or something to refer to later on. If you're looking for something, you know, some sort of upside on this one, that could be a nice area to watch. If we do clear this, and like I said, yeah, my next target will be this 100-day EMA, and if we clear that one, the 21-day EMA together with this upside line. Gold, looking at this, I mean, this is on fire, and maybe, just maybe, we're having that correction right now. I mean, well, not maybe, but we are having, but can we get a deeper one a little bit? I mean, something like this. Can we get a retracement maybe back to this 1765 territory marked by the high of the 25th of August, or maybe test of this 200-day EMA? Well, obviously this is what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. So at the moment, look, I mean, we had a beautiful rally. Where's my favorite Fibonacci? There we go. Let's see what we can squeeze here. There we go. Okay, so the 23.6 is just slightly below the 200-day EMA at the moment. Yeah, everything's, I think the bears are enjoying the moment, but can they continue enjoying the moment the whole day today? Well, again, let's wait and see. At the moment, yes, I'm targeting maybe this 200-day EMA. Although the 23.6% retracement here looks quite interesting, let's go slowly. It might not work out, but again, let's go slowly. If we first, let's aim for that 200-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. Silver having a nice retracement. Oh, this one's a little bit more bearish than bullish, so yeah, more downside is possible. However, look, I will stick to my guns here, and I will say that if we do break this upside line and we fall below the 200-day EMA, that's when I'm going to start aiming lower. At the moment, I'm just observing this, and guys, honestly, I don't like this. If somebody's looking for a long, well, if you're looking for a long on this one, then let me just grab a line. Of course, keep your eyes on that 21.62 territory right here, which previously acted as a good area of support, resistance, both, by the way. Now we kind of got violated on Tuesday, and yeah, if you're looking for some higher levels, then maybe a push above this 22.25 territory right here would do the trick. This would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in, so keep that in mind. WTI oil, this one's in the range, and look, it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride here, and to be honest, I don't like it, and that's why I think it's time for me to widen it up a little. So there we go, something like this. Okay, so if we are in this little range right now, yes, that's great. Let's see how this is going to work out here. But yeah, if this is a nice, good, range here, then we're certainly, of course, we have to wait for a clear breakout. At the moment, if you are comfortable trading within this range, be my guest. But to be honest, at this point, I think I'm just gonna leave it. I don't really like this, and that's why for me it's just yeah, I think it's gonna be just like a little bit of a gamble. So in general, the markets are always a gamble, but hey, it's a kind of slightly logical gamble. But anyway, long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then I would say wait for a push above the 93.62. If you're looking for some downside, wait for a drop below this highlighted zone, which is kind of in between a lot of levels here. This last one is the 82.54 on my chart here. I mean, you could keep an eye on that one. Or if you're comfortable with the 84.07 zone right here, which is yesterday's low, then you can keep an eye on that one, because this this would confirm a forthcoming lower low if we get a break of this one. And then it could lead to these highlighted levels right here, and then we could go from there. Bitcoin, so of course the whole kind of madness continues, the crypto madness, and look at this. We did have a rebound, but this 17,567 territory, which is the lowest point of June of this year, is still providing a good resistance. So we're still holding up here. Holding below this area, but we're not really going any lower. On the other hand, maybe we're forming a bearish pennant. Let me just see if that's going to be the case. We do have this upside line, and at the same time we have this one right there. So yeah, okay, great. Could be a bearish pennant. If that's the case, then of course tends to break to the downside. But until we get that break here below the lower side here, or in general, you could keep an eye on this, and there's an upside line if you're not comfortable with this downside line. So if we break this upside line, then yes, this could open the door towards some lower levels. For the upside, bear with me one moment. For the upside, sorry about that, guys. Look, it's a bit of a difficult one here. I mean, we could start drawing some trend lines, for example, here, trying to find some logic in general. I would say it's a difficult one right now to find any logic in this crypto world. So yeah, unless you're gonna see some news coming out. So basically, it's gonna be very heavily news driven. So you might as well just kind of keep an eye on the crypto news of whatever's happening with it, especially with the regulation part, because I think that we are heading towards that. as much as, you know, everybody enjoyed the moment of cryptos not being very regulated, I think this time is coming up because, look, the more different kind of issues we'll see coming out, where, for example, these exchanges or companies, you know, falling apart and blah 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 and stuff like that, this of course will lead to customer frustration, and I think that this is going to be the moment where everybody will start saying, hey, you know what, I can sacrifice the whole regulation bit, just kind of, you know, keep my money stable and safe. So, and this is and this is what the kind of the regulators are actually looking forward to, you know, happening. So yeah, it's all nice and beautiful, the way everything is getting played. So look, at the moment, like I said, it's the crypto world is the difficult one. The regulators are trying to show that, hey, everything's not not as safe as you think, you know, like, and stuff like that. Yeah, like it's still the crypto world is attractive for some. But again, you have to accept the fact that, you know, the money is never safe in there. So it's still a gamble. You always have to gamble with something that you're willing to lose. If you cannot lose that, then certainly don't go in there. You know, there's like less risky assets to kind of, you know, to trade. But either way, the technicals right now, I wouldn't say that, you know, they don't really apply on the crypto world. So I would say just keep your eyes on the news and, you know, go from there. EURUSD, so beautiful. Look at this. I mean, this is just on fire. Continues to rise and continues to climb higher. Look, I mean, of course, I'll put this curved arrow here right now because we had quite a decent up move here, so great. What's next? In general, I'm targeting this 200-day EMA. I want to see if we're going to get a hold up here like this, like back in August or back in June. Last time we were above the 200-day was in April, at the end of April. So we're coming closer again to this 200-day EMA. I'm kind of more leaning to the fact that we will reach that. However, will we get maybe a retracement first? That's a good question. So maybe I'm going to consider something like that. Look, in general, at the moment, this is not the time right now to jump on this one. Probably, if you've missed this rally, then just leave it. We wait for at least a test of this 200-day EMA, and then we can do something about it. Maybe we'll get a little correction. Maybe you know, we'll get a correction and then we'll reverse back to the upside, and we finally will break this 200-day EMA because maybe the third time is lucky. Who knows? Again. But at this point, I think I will aim for this 200-day EMA as long as we stay above the 100-day EMA right here. If we start falling below it, I will consider maybe a bit of a retracement here, maybe back to this 21-day EMA. AUD NZD, so this was my favorite one. Look at this. I mean, look how technical it is. I mean, this is amazing. And in general, if you remember last week, I talked about this and I said that if we climb above this downside line and above the 200-day EMA, above the 21-day EMA, and above the 1.1022, I will lean a little bit more to the upside. Of course, a lot of criteria to meet, but hey, let's see if that's going to work out or not. But basically, this could be a nice confirmation breakout. For the downside, it needs to drop below the 1.0883. Simple as that. NZD-CHF, one of my favorite ones. Look at this. I mean, we reached the 50% retracement on the Fibonacci. Boom, great. 61.8, we didn't reach that. Okay, that's fine. This was my kind of the final target, but hey, I said that if we fall below the 38.2, then my next target is the 50. If we clear the 50, then my next target is the 61. We didn't clear the 50, it rebounded, pushed back up, pushed back to that 23.6. Now, I think it's time to remove the Fibonacci here. I think it's in the way, and I think it's better right now to just keep our eyes on this downside line taken from the high of the 6th of April. If we clear that one, then yes, I'll go to the upside, I'll go higher, and I'll aim for that 200-day EMA. If we fall below the 0.5758 territory right here, then yes, that's where more sellers could join in, and you know, we could keep an eye on the 0.5716, of course, as well, because a nice good break below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. So if you're not comfortable right now with this area, just leave it. Honestly, it might present itself with a nice opportunity later on. USD-CHF, this one's quite, oh my god, this is quite interesting. Look, we have reached the target. This idea was here that I said before on this one. Look, I mean, this has moved quite significantly. I mean, look at this, guys. I mean, I can try to draw a bunch of levels here. I've marked this area. Look, I talked about the 200-day EMA. I said that, hey, maybe we'll get something like this here if we break, but instead, actually, not only that it didn't get something like that. It actually went to this level, and yep, this provided fantastic support. Look at this, how well this played out, and in general, of course, this kind of leads me to a drawing a Fibonacci here, and to be honest, looks quite interesting because I mean we could see a bit of a retracement here or something like that. So maybe up this 23.6 could be a nice target to watch. But at the moment, I will say, look. On the other hand, my other problem here is maybe we're forming a bearish pennant as well. So you know this could break out to the downside still. So it didn't really give me like a clear reversal signal yet. Instead, it's actually giving me something like a bearish pennant formation, bearish flag, bearish pennant. Again, depends on how you're going to draw it. So keep that in mind because again, although it's screaming for a bit of a retracement, but actually this might not be it still could continue drifting lower, and then maybe it will kind of maybe hit something right around here or something like that. But or maybe actually there's a little level right here. There we go. The good potential target is 0.9287. Let's see if that can get reached. USD JPY. This one is also coiling up right now. No, yeah, well, actually something like coiling up. Look, simple as that. I mean, simple approach here. If we continue to trade below the 100-day EMA, I'm aiming lower. My next target is the 200-day EMA. Simple as that. For the upside, I need to see a break of this downside line taken from the high of the 21st of October. USD CAD, also similar story. Look, my target got reached. I talked about this on Friday. And basically, we fell to my levels, the 1.3223, oh sorry, 24. We reached that, great. Now what's next? Simple, very simple as well. As long as we stay below the 100-day EMA, I'm aiming for that 200-day EMA. That's what I'm going to be doing here. For the upside, I would like to see maybe a push, at least initially, from the shorter term perspective, a push above this downside line and maybe above this 1.3409 level, and then we could go from here. GBP JPY, this one's quite interesting because it climbed back above the so-called neckline. Look, I mean, I talked about this previously. I said maybe this is a head and shoulders pattern, but what I said before, after we broke the neckline, if we stay below it, I'll go lower. It climbed back up. Now this is a different game plan because again, now you have to look at this downside line, and we are flirting right now with it. So if we fall back below this neckline, I'll go to the downside. Again, I'll aim for this 100-day EMA, and if that's going to get cleared, then yes, I'm going to go even lower. For the upside, I need to see a push now above this this downside line and this 21-day EMA, and then we'll take it from there. GBP NZDs, this one's quite interesting. Look, the rising wedge idea worked out. I mean, I talked about this, and then look at this. I mean, it worked out nicely. It didn't really go a lot to the downside, but hey, if you managed to capture this, congratulations. Now I think it's time to kind of stick to the EMAs, because somehow the 100 and the 200-day EMAs are providing good resistance. They're providing good hold up, and yeah, providing good now we could continue aiming lower towards this 1.9131 level right here. Let's see if we can reach that. At the moment, yep, I am gonna lean towards the downside, towards this 1.9131. If we clear this, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low. For the upside, a break of this downside line is required, and then we will target those levels right here. Euro CHF. So we broke the neckline, we drifted lower. Look, it's actually perfect. We went lower, and we have made the target was like somewhere the same distance as the height of this neck, from the neckline to the head, the tip of the head, and here we drifted lower, and we have made the same distance here. So now we've retraced. Yesterday we tested the 21-day and the 100-day EMA. We found good resistance. we're trying to climb back up. Again, let's see if these EMAs do provide resistance as well. If we do break this area right here, the 0.9723, this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and potentially more sellers could join in here. Look, this is not going to be, I think, as radical as the USD CHF, but yeah, let's go slowly on this one. This could be a little bit more moderate one if you want to do trade the CHF pairs together with the NZD CHF, of course, as well. So yeah, this one's a little bit on the moderate side. For the upside, I need to see a push back above the 0.9834 level right here with the so-called neckline. And then I'll aim for the 208 EMA, or maybe initially for this 0.9957, and then the 208 EMA. And finally, EURUSD, guys. Before, I think I already went over my time a little bit, so apologies for that. But look, this one's quite interesting. This is, yeah, of course, yesterday's this jump and then decline, of course, can relate to the whole kind of geopolitical tensions in Europe. Yes, the whole incident, but okay, look. Currently, from the technical perspective, we did climb above this 1.0368 zone right here, and 67, I think. Yep, that's one. Yeah, 68 territory. We climbed above it. We pushed through this 1.0340. I talked about this as well. We reached the 208 EMA. I think it's time a little to redraw this a little bit. And actually, let me remove everything. I think it's going to be easier this way. So look, we are getting a hold up right now near this 208 EMA. We're still above this 1.0368 level, so that's great, good news for the buyers. However, if we somehow start falling back below this territory right here, the 1.0271, I think I'll consider maybe a bit of a retracement back to these this 100-day EMA and the 21-day EMA, which could be around this target somewhere near the 1.0094 level right here. And then, yeah, we could take it from there. If we do stay above the 200-day EMA, guys, my next target there then will be somewhere around here, near this 1.0615 level. So yeah, that's it, guys, for this session. I'll have to wrap it up. So thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes, your comments, everything. I really appreciate that. So yeah, happy to kind of be back. Join me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. But for now, guys, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.